Today I'm going to show you what delinquent tax sales are and exactly how they work so that you can take advantage of them. A delinquent tax sale is caused when a property owner doesn't pay the real estate taxes for typically 3 to 4 years. So they fall behind and the government says, hey, we need this money because we got to pay the police, the firefighters, the mayor, for the library, for fixing the potholes, for taking out the trash, all those things. So they're deadly serious. If you don't pay your taxes for 3 to 4 years, they will take your property and they will sell it at a public auction. Now, about half the country works with something called tax lien certificates, and half the country works with delinquent tax sales, which means they sell the property at an auction. We're going to be talking about delinquent tax sales today, not about liens. I talk about liens in other videos. You can search on my channel for more about that, or you can subscribe and you'll get notice of those. But today we're going to talk about delinquent tax sales. I've been doing this since 1989, so I know this really well. I'm an attorney. I know all about it. I'm going to share the insider secrets with you today. So here's what happens. Some property owner doesn't pay the real estate taxes for 3 to 4 years. They'll get plenty of notices, but eventually the government's going to get tired of sending out certified mail notices, and they're going to say, all right, we're selling this property. And they're going to offer the property at a public auction starting at the amount of past due taxes. And if you think about taxes, they're on average a little under 2% of the property value in a given year. So if you had like average house in America, which is a little over $400,000 house, average tax bill is about $8,000 a year. So if you're 4 years behind, you're $32,000 behind in taxes. So you have penalties and interest, which are pretty high with taxes. So let's say that you owe $50,000 in total, including interest and penalties. Well, you have a $400,000 house. That bidding is going to start out, and if you're a bidder at that auction, that bidding is starting out at $50,000. So if you're there, nobody else shows up or nobody else is interested in that property, you'll get a $400,000 property for $50,000. Now, does that usually happen? No. There's another method I'll talk to you about at the end where you can make that happen, but generally speaking, if you're using the simple strategy of just going to the auction, that's not what happens. What happens is there are other bidders, and usually the house is going to sell for between 70 and 80% of its as-is value, whatever that is. So if you're talking $400,000 house, it's going to sell for somewhere between $280,000 and $320,000, which is still a great deal. I mean, even a $400,000 house for $320,000 is a really good deal, but it's not $50,000. So here's the process you would use. The first thing is get yourself a list of properties that are going to be sold. In most counties, they're doing an annual sale. In some counties, especially larger cities, sometimes they'll do a weekly or monthly sale. But do a search, and I'll just give you an example. You could do a search on DeKalb County, Georgia tax sale. They hold tax sales there monthly. You could do a search. You would see the list of the upcoming sales, and you could register to go bid at that auction. You need to register advance generally, so make sure if you're going to be getting into this business, you do verify whatever is required to do to register. Usually it's filling in a simple form, letting you know you're not past due on your own real estate taxes, and then you can go ahead and bid, but you need to do it in advance, so it's not something you can do the day of the auction generally. Anyway, so you'll go online, you get the list of properties, you start looking at properties, and then you decide the ones you want to bid on, and you show up at the auction prepared to bid. Now, most tax sales, other than ones in Pennsylvania, the tax sales come free and clear of any mortgages or other liens. The tax sale is called a priming lien, meaning the taxes prime or get ahead of every other kind of lien. So if there were a mortgage, it would get wiped out. So bidders are generally getting properties free and clear of any other liens or obligations. But the tax sales are not in any way for the amateur. You've really got to educate yourself if you're going to be doing these sales for a couple of reasons. Number one, some places have things like rights of redemption that allow the homeowner to pay the taxes after the sale, repay you your money too, but then keep the property. And in some places, you can't even set foot on the property until that right of redemption is expired. If so, it's illegal. You can actually get arrested. So you don't want to walk into this just blindly. Also, you need to know things like, how do I get rid of an occupant? Like if there's a tenant there or the former owner, how do I get rid of them? Because I can tell you the county's not going to do that for you. So you need to understand that. You need to educate yourself in the business. The way you would do that is look around for some courses. I'll give you a recommendation at the end on that. Look around for some courses and then educate yourself fully before you go and bid. But you can, just to get started, get the list, maybe observe an auction, You could register just as an observer. They don't charge a fee generally for registering. So you could do that, and that's a good way to get started, get an idea of what pricing is. I can tell you there's some good deals. I've gotten some amazing deals at tax sale. My cheapest one was a house for $275 that I bought at tax sale that I'll tell you about a little bit later. But the point is there can be some really amazing deals at those tax sales. It can be a great opportunity for you to be a buyer and get a property at a terrific discount. Now, some of the things you need to learn. You need to learn how to evaluate properties for condition. You do not get a house tour of these things. They don't open up the house or have an open house or anything, so you got to evaluate it. Assume the worst, but you do have to have an idea of what it costs for construction. You need an idea of what houses go for in the neighborhood and how to determine that. I can tell you, as much as I think Zillow is a really interesting thing, their Zestimate, I wouldn't rely on as an investor, that's for sure. I think it's information, but I sure as heck wouldn't rely on it as an investor. So you need to understand how to quickly evaluate market value, evaluate cost to fix up properties. So there's a lot to know to invest successfully in tax sales. And you need to know the legal risks. Is your a place where there's a right of redemption or not? Like, for example, in Georgia, there's a 1-year right of redemption. Even if you buy the property at tax sale, it's possible for someone to come back anytime within a year, repay you what you bid plus 20%, so you do get a profit, but you don't just get the property the day after the sale. There's a full year that you have to wait. So there's lots to learn, lots of risks inherent in it, but it can be a great opportunity. I started buying properties in 1989. This little lot that you see on the screen, I bought that thing for $3,000, sold for $21,000, I think, if I remember, 20 or 21,000. It was great. It was, for me, when I was first starting out, I was a young guy, $3,000 was good money to me, but I turned that into $21,000, which is a pretty good deal. And that was through tax sale. And that property is on Philina Street in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Really wonderful little deal. So there can be great deals, but it's not for the uninitiated. Let me tell you about 2 other opportunities that you can check out. Number 1, the business I do today is called Overages. What that business is when properties are sold at tax sale, when they sell for more than the amount of taxes that are owed, which is very, very common, that extra money is available for the former homeowner to claim. Homeowners don't know about it. They rarely claim the money. Matter of fact, 7 out of 10 times they don't claim the money and the government just keeps it. Typically, there are anywhere from tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands left over. Really great business. If you want to know more about that, I love that business. The business I'm in full time now, and I absolutely adore it. I help people and I make a lot of money. I recorded a video that you can click. It should appear up above my shoulder. If it does, you can click on that. If it doesn't, down below there's a video. It's the intro to the Overages Business video. It's really a good business. The intro video that I put up is 7 minutes long. I go through all the details of that business. And if you're at that point interested, I have a longer presentation where you can get all the details of it and really learn about that business. I do teach other people the business because we do dozens of deals, but the fact is there are 3,000 tax sales per day in the United States. So I'm not even scratching the surface. So I've decided that I'll make some money teaching the business as well as doing it. And also for me, it's a cause. I can't stand the fact that people lose their properties at tax sale and then they don't even know there's any money left over, so then the government just keeps that money. And I just think it's wrong. So I'm trying to put together sort of a group of people who want to be like Robin Hood and his merry men. I'll be Robin Hood, you can be whoever you want, Friar Tuck or Maiden Mary or whoever it is. We want to get these people their money. It's just absolutely ludicrous that they don't get the money. So I'm looking to get some people together to do that. So I'm happy to teach you the business. Then you can go out and help people get their money back and make a nice fee because you get a percentage of what you recover. The second thing is really a better way to do the tax deed auctions, really a better way to do the delinquent tax sales is to go ahead and use my friend Tony's method to do it. So what Tony does is he gets properties that nobody bought at the tax sale. And this often happens just because there's an overwhelming number of properties at the tax sale and people don't have time to do all the due diligence. And so people will buy some properties, but there's often properties left over and those sit with the county and just wait for someone to come along and make an offer. That's how I bought the property you're seeing on your screen for $275. Nobody bought it at the auction. There was nothing wrong with it other than, it's in Norristown, Pennsylvania, which wasn't at the time the nicest town. It was kind of on a rundown street in Stanbridge Street. It was a rundown property, so nobody bid on it. But I went and just got it for $275, which was the cost of the title search, and fixed it up. it took quite a bit of fix up, but sold it for $65,000. There's a good margin in that, probably $30,000 margin, plus or minus a few bucks. So it's a pretty good deal. And those are available, and there are thousands of them across the country. And since there are thousands of properties offered a tax sale every day, they're literally just, these things are pouring in. And it's a really great way to be in the business. You don't have any competition at an auction. You have time to look over properties. Really a much better way to invest. I have a friend named Tony that does this, has been doing it since the mid-1990s. And he is the rock star. He has got this thing dialed in. And if you're interested in buying a tax sale, Tony's the guy that you need to follow. I did a video with him where we sat down and talked about tax sales, talked about overages, what I do. More importantly for you, we talked about what he does in buying properties that were overlooked at the tax sales. Really great business, really the way to do it. And you can learn about that for free. Just click on the link down below, or if your browser supports it, you'll see a link up here. Go check out my interview with Tony. He really has a great system for doing it, and it's absolutely the better way of doing it. Rather than buying at the delinquent tax sale, do it Tony's way. Just buy it when there's no competition. You can casually browse through catalogs of properties and just buy the best ones, and you can make a ton of money and really have a great business. So this is Attorney Bob Diamond. Hope this was helpful to you. I hope you learned something today. If you liked it, then just click the like button, because that helps more people find the channel. And also, if you like this, definitely subscribe to the channel. I'm always talking about tax sales and foreclosure sales and the overages business and real estate business in general. I've been doing the business since 1989. I've been an attorney since 1995 in real estate. I have lots to share with you, and my goal is to help you become more successful more quickly, avoid the mistakes, and go forward confidently and build yourself a great business. So thanks for listening. Go check out the 2 videos and like this and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.